woke up to Britain saying, I'm tired of this marriage, I don't want to be in it anymore. Now, we know that the European Commission negotiates the trade agreements for all those in the EU, including Britain. Now, with this exit, when it comes to trade as Ghana as a country, what are we to expect?
It's said already, even by our own ambassador here, William Hanna, that the British are not the enemy, and by all means there'll be a workable relationship without kicking back if the UK is going to exit, because as you know, it's advising referendum. Parliament can choose not to do anything with it, but that would be political suicide. On the other side, there are already 3 million people who petitioned for another referendum, in which more information would be given and less party politics or, let's say, cushioning sentiments against foreigners, because that was a big part of the Brexit question. It was not the official part, but it became the Brexit question, which was actually already shoved aside by Boris, who left the stage prematurely by saying free movement of people won't be on the agenda. But for most of the voters, that was one of the major agenda points. So trade-wise, what will happen, the UK is an important business country. If you look at the situation trade-wise between Ghana and the UK, don't overestimate it. Small countries like Switzerland, the Netherlands, have much bigger trade, are much more important trade partners for Ghana than the UK. And if you look at imports and exports from Ghana to the UK, they're both under 4%. But if you look how important Ghana is for the UK, they are both under 1%. So I don't think much is trade-wise going to happen. There are some things like reinsurance. The UK is a giant in the major insurance companies in the world. And especially our oil sector is almost all reinsured in the UK. So there's going to be an effect over there, depending also if there are larger European reinsurers who will stay or who will leave the UK. There is going to be an effect, you know, Ghanaians, secondary and tertiary education, you still love the UK. So it's going to become cheaper for the average Ghanaian students, which is good for the fathers amongst us here. And what is important for the UK is because of the lower pound at the moment, it's easier for them to export. And all the doors are still open, and I mean export within the EU and not outside the EU, because there nothing much has changed.
Now, if you look at the top 5 export destinations of Ghana as well, we have Switzerland, which is the highest. It has $1.73 billion. China, $1.06 billion. France, $939 million. India, $789 million. And Netherlands, $778 million. And actually, Britain is not in the top 5. Our exports to the UK, Britain is only $300 million. Now, if you look at the top 5 import origins also, China, we import $4.1 billion worth of goods from China. Netherlands, $1.58 billion. United States, $1.1 billion. Nigeria, $920 million. And India, $668 million. Again, the UK is not in there. We only have $550 million from the UK. This is interesting, isn't it, Nico?
No, because number one, you know, the part of the UK, if you look at the trade between the UK and Ghana, it's mainly commodities, cocoa and oil. If the UK is exporting refined oil, it comes from Scotland. Nobody knows what's going to happen to Scotland if the Brexit is going to take place. And oil trade is a commodity that can be done all over the world. So if the UK wants to do it and are prepared to pay the price, although with a lower pound it's going to be more expensive, then the relationship will continue. But I don't think there's going to be a breakup or there's going to be a big change in the trade relationship between Ghana and the UK. What I do think is that if the Brexit takes place, that Ghana has to negotiate with the UK, and all kinds of agreements needs to be reviewed, and new agreements have to be made. So that's where there's a big job for Ghana to do. Looking at the almost insignificance for the UK with trade with Ghana, as I said, it's less than 1%. I don't know if Ghana can get a very good deal. If I were Ghana, I would try to organize the Commonwealth to make trade agreements with the UK. But in the Commonwealth, I don't think countries like India, Australia, and Canada will be pushed aside too quick to say let's join all these small countries and get one trade agreement. I think they want to be individual. They want to have individual agreements with the UK.
So we're better off doing the individual agreements.
Ghana is too small for an individual agreement. You'll end up having a bad deal.
Great. We'll come back to that, but let me introduce